This serial killer has kidnapped a girl, and he is transferring her somewhere in the back of his red van. Elsewhere, an old man prays to the god to get an answer. He wants to know if his granddaughter, Sin-Yi, will be able to make it back home safely. At that moment, the red van stops right below the temple where the old man is located. The kidnapped girl, who is Sin-Yi, sees her grandpa and tries to notify him of her presence. The old man is not able to hear her even though he randomly walks down the streets. When the girl sees him, she bangs her head hard on the van's glass in order to draw the attention of the old man. The man instinctively walks near the van, but he is not able to see inside because the van's windows give him a reflection of himself. At the same time, Sin-Yi is desperate because her grandpa is right in front of her eyes, but she can't communicate with him. When the old man gets too close, the killer drives away fast. The city of Taipei has been terrorized by a serial killer who appears to be unstoppable. The police are not even close to getting him, and the ruthless murderer continues on his killing spree. One day, all the TV channels receive a videotape of his. Some of them wonder if they should broadcast this on television, but all the channels decide to play the video as they desperately want to get ahead of their competition. The chatter throughout the city can't be silenced. As people gossip about this tape, it is revealed that the serial killer has sent more tapes to the media outlets in the past. Before murdering one more victim, the killer, who everyone calls No, taunts a prosecutor called Kwa, who has made it his mission to stop this lunatic. The next morning, a young girl takes her dog out for a walk in the park. Her day does not start well since her dog leads her to a red box with a hand in it. The police are called immediately, and then Prosecutor Kwa follows. Kwa has a talk with Detective Yong, who seems to be in charge. While Kwa takes his time to investigate the scene, he asks Yong to ask the witnesses for details, before landing his eyes on a camera guy named Jian, who seems weird to him. Things get more and more complicated for Kwa, who decides to check up on a female reporter named Lu because she has been following him around. Then, Kwa meets with the coroner to examine the hand they found. The fact that sticks with the prosecutor is that the hand has one dislocated thumb. Kwa asks the coroner if he has ever had another body with a dislocated finger. The experienced coroner recalls a case from 3 years ago. Kwa digs in his files and finds the case. A man named Tian had killed a girl who refused to sleep with him and then buried her. While he finds more information, Kwa realizes that the girl who was murdered used to live with Lu the reporter. The next day, Yong brings some rare handcuffs for Kwa to see, and the team finds out that there is a specific type of finger cuffs which was probably used on the victim. Prosecutor Kwa continues his research and he wants to have a word with Tian. A policeman brings him into the interrogation room. Kwa tries to be cool with him. Tian can't understand why the prosecutor is making small talk, so Kwa starts reading Tian's old statement about the murder he committed. According to the statement, the girl Tian killed was working as an escort, but the two of them had a disagreement about the money. The girl threatened Tian that she would accuse him of abuse if he didn't pay her. Tian got angry, took the girl into his apartment and kept her there for a week before killing her. Once they are done with the statement, Kwa gives him the finger cuffs to examine. Then, he asks the murderer to trap his fingers in the cuffs. As Kwa observes him, he realizes that Tian has no idea how to use the cuffs. First, the murderer traps one of his fingers and then struggles to trap the other. Lastly, the prosecutor shows him some photos and informs him that many victims are being found with dislocated thumbs. Kwa believes that something is not right, and tells Tian that he can give him a call if he wants to talk. Meanwhile, Lu is trying to use the vending machine, but while she is looking for something to drink, Jian the camera guy is shooting a few frames of her. Lu notices him and the young man stops his filming. As he acts nervously and tries to walk away, he stumbles on another man who works in the channel, Chen. When Chen is alone with Lu, he advises her not to take Jian seriously as he is very anxious around women. However, there is something worrying about him as he likes to take pictures of various women. The next morning, Lu visits Mr. Ma, the old man who lost his granddaughter. Lu convinces him to give her an interview because she can make the situation public and that might help them find Sin-Yi. The old man narrates that he is the one who raised Sin-Yi because her parents divorced when she was a kid. Mr. Ma spends his nights handing out brochures to strangers, hoping that maybe one of them has seen his granddaughter. He also tells Lu that Sin-Yi's mother is in a coma because she had an accident a few days after her daughter disappeared. Elsewhere, Kwa has taken Yong to the place where Tian's victim was found. Kwa makes some calculations, but the numbers don't add up. He concludes that Tian would not have enough time to drive from the town to this place and also dig the grave for his victim. By the power of deduction, Kwa assumes that Tian had an accomplice, but as they investigate, the two men find a red box with a hand inside it in a nearby house, which indicates that the serial killer was expecting them. Back at the police station, the officers wonder if this hand belongs to Sin-Yi, but when Mr. Ma comes to the station, he tells them that this is not her hand. His granddaughter has a burn mark on her hand. Kwa follows the old man back to the temple because he wants to have a look at Sin-Yi's stuff. As he finds out, the girl used to hang out at a club called Kink, where Lu's friend used to hang out 3 years ago. Kwa takes Young along and they visit the club. While they start asking questions around, Kwa notices the camera guy creeping around. Things take an unexpected turn when Young sees his daughter, Ju Tong, working as a dancer in the club. Young tries to take her away by force, but that creates chaos inside the club, and Ju Tong gets the chance to run away with her friend. That night, Mr. Ma receives a phone call from No, who makes Sin-Yi scream for the old man to hear. Then, he clarifies that if Ma wants to see his granddaughter, he has to do exactly as he is told. No instructs Mr. Ma to crawl on the ground and bark like a dog until midnight. The old man has no other choice, so he starts crawling on the ground through the city streets. 2 police officers try to get him up, but Mr. Ma pleads with them to leave him alone. When the old man returns home, he finds a red box with a key on it. As he opens it, he finds Sin-Yi's underwear and a videotape in it. Sadly, the video portrays the killer asking Sin-Yi to pray to her God to save her. He is so twisted that he wants to show this video of her praying to her grandpa. Sin-Yi denies cooperating with him anymore because she knows he is never going to let her go. No becomes angry with her attitude, and he decides to kill the girl on camera. Mr. Ma is devastated, and Kwa can't believe how brutal this serial killer is. While the prosecutor is about to leave the old man's temple, a crowd of reporters awaits him outside. Kwa is bombarded with millions of questions, but he doesn't reply to any of them. The public goes crazy with these peculiar cases of women getting murdered. The media outlets also apply pressure on the authorities, so the police create a team whose sole purpose will be to find No. That night, a police team goes to the Kink Club for control. Young is happy to see that his daughter is not working as a dancer anymore. He gives her a call in order to make amends with her, but his daughter is not in the mood to talk to him. Instead, she calls her best friend. Unfortunately, the killer's red van drives right past Ju Tong's friend. Then, the serial killer stops the van and abducts the girl. The next morning, Lu and her co-workers are called for a meeting by their supervisor and one of the main anchorwomen of the channel, Yachi. The boss wants her team to come up with ideas so they can get more people to watch her show. And somebody recommends getting an interview from Mr. Ma. Yachi believes that the old man is not going to talk to anybody, but Lu says that she can try because she knows him. Elsewhere, Kwa is riding with Young, who is worried about his relationship with his daughter. The officer's words bring some painful memories back in Kwa's head, who recalls an unpleasant moment he had with his father in the past. When he gets over it, he tries to calm Young down by telling him that his daughter will understand his concerns when she grows up. Then, the two of them have a talk with one of Sin-Yi's friends, but they don't discover any new or valuable information. That night, Yachi has Mr. Ma as a guest on her show, but things go sideways when she starts accepting calls from her viewers. They blame Mr. Ma for raising an unethical daughter since she used to hang out in that kink club. After the show, Lu has a fight with Yachi because she believes that the anchorwoman used Mr. Ma to raise the stats of her show. Soon, Sin-Yi is found near a Christian temple. As it appears, the serial killer spends quite some time getting to know his victims. He knew a detail that not even Ma knew, that Sin-Yi was baptized a Christian, but she never told her grandpa. While more women are disappearing, the prosecutor tries to find clues, but nothing leads him to something with enough credibility to uncover the serial killer. At the same time, Lu tries to do her own research as well as help Kwa. The two of them have grown a bit closer to one another, and Lu visits him to the police station just to bring him some aspirins. However, their moment is interrupted by Wu Huai, an old friend of Kwa who also happens to be a professor of psychology. Lu leaves them alone and Wu Huai gives her opinion to the prosecutor, saying that the serial killer probably views his murders as his creations. After the brief meeting with his friend, Kwa has to meet the other officers because a red box has been found on Yang's car. Some detectives take pictures of the inside of the box while some other officers prevent Yang from being near the box. That makes Yang very angry because this box might have something to do with his daughter. But that's the reason Kwa doesn't want him near the box, because he is not certain if Yang is acting like a detective or like a relative right now. Yang takes a step back and manages to calm down, apologizing to Kwa about his temper and asking him to allow him to be a part of this team. Nevertheless, the conversation is interrupted by the other detective, who informs them that somebody called Lou's channel and claimed that he is the serial killer. As soon as the policemen learn about this, they storm into the TV channel to talk to Jian, who happens to be the one who answered the call of the serial killer. Jian reveals that this is not the first time the serial killer has called them. The previous time was when Kwa saw him with the video camera inside the club. Chen walks into the room and tells the police squad that he was the one who sent Jian to the club after that phone call because he thought there would be something worth documenting. As for this time, Jian has recorded the serial killer's call on a tape and he plays it for Yong to hear. As it appears, No has kidnapped his daughter and he wants the officer to plead for Ju Tong's life on national television. Yong gets extremely mad and he even blames Kwa for not doing his job correctly. When he walks outside with his fellow officer Da, the red van crosses right behind them. The serial killer wants to taunt them, so he just parks behind them for a few moments. When the officers turn around and take a look at the van, they have no idea that Ju Tong is watching them from the back of the van. The girl is tied up and the serial killer drives away with her right under the nose of her father. Later at the police station, everyone tries to console Yong, but the man is worried about his daughter. He considers going live to ask the serial killer to spare his daughter even though everyone advises him against this. In fact, the police commander tells him such a move would create panic because people would believe this killer can do whatever he wants. Then, Yong has a private talk with Kwa and asks him what he would do if his own daughter's life was at risk. Kwa has no idea how to answer that, but Yong's question triggers yet another of his memories. This time Kwa remembers being a young man and entering a house. Inside the house, he finds his mother dead with his younger sister. Back in the present, the police find the red van abandoned, and Yong recalls that he has seen this red van before. The first time he saw it was on the cameras, when the van drove next to his car to drop the red box on his vehicle. The second time was when they walked outside the TV channel, where the killer drove right behind him. Needless to say that Yong is out of control. The officer decides to appear on the TV show that night with Chen as the anchorman. The officer starts telling his daughter about all the mistakes he makes, while she is tied up and watches him on the TV. At the same time, the prosecutor drives to the TV station and asks the manager to stop the broadcasting. Since nobody is listening to him, Kwa decides to crash the live stream, while Yong begins begging the serial killer to spare his daughter's life. Kwa bursts into the studio and creates a mess. The chaos ends with Yong punching Kwa because he believes the prosecutor is putting his daughter's life at risk. The next day, Kwa faces a lot of backlash as the police commander scolds him about what he did. Not only all the civilians are confused with this case, but also the parliament is mad at them. Kwa proclaims that none of this makes any difference to the killer, but that's not enough to calm the commander down. That night, Chen meets with Lu and convinces her to return to the TV channel and work as a reporter after being fired by Yichi. When she arrives there, the manager explains that Chen's team needs more people, so he had no issue with Lu coming back and working under Chen this time. Yichi pretends she has no problem with that, but she kind of hates Lu. Elsewhere, Yong is having a hard time dealing with his stress, so he decides to take action and corner Jian, believing that he has something to do with the serial killer. Yong roughs him up and asks him about the missing girls, but Jian replies he has no idea. Eventually, Yong is interrupted by Wu Huai and he allows the cameraman to go. The woman takes Jian back to her place and takes care of his wounds. The next morning, Da brings some clues for Kwa to examine, telling him that Jian was involved in a case when he was underage. According to the report, he had beaten up a girl pretty badly. Right next, Wu Huai visits Kwa for a talk, complaining about Yong. Their conversation reveals that Jian is her brother. Kwa tells her about Jian's old case, but Wu Huai claims the accusations are not true. The police made a mistake and they never gave her brother a chance to explain. In the meantime, Ju Tong is able to free her legs, and she makes an attempt to escape with her friend. As she tries to carry her friend with her, the killer catches up to them and attacks them. As he attacks Ju Tong, the killer is revealed to be the DJ from the club many of the female victims used to visit. During Yichi's next show, she talks about the murder cases before she announces that they are going to receive phone calls from their viewers in order to hear their opinions. However, the first person who calls them is the serial killer. No opens a dialogue with the TV hostess, while Kwa sends it to the police station in order to track the call. The call lasts a few minutes, but the police are unable to trace it. Before he hangs up, the killer tells Yong to go to the park where he had forgotten his daughter when she was a little kid. Yong rushes to the park and finds a dead body. This body, though, belongs to his daughter's best friend. Meanwhile, Jian visits the DJ from the club, John. revealing that they are close friends. Jian proclaims that the killer's voice reminds him of Jia-an, so he asks his friend if he is the serial killer. Jia-an replies he is not, and Jian leaves his house after apologizing to him for coming uninvited. A flashback reveals that the two young men have been friends since childhood. Their relationship began at a time when Jian was being severely bullied by a group of boys and girls. Jia-an helped him out, and he also beat one of the girls up. The teachers didn't get the story straight and they blamed the incident on Jian. Jian never told them the truth, that Jia-an was the one who beat the girl. As he rides his motorbike, Jian calls a social service, saying that he suspects his friend killed some people. The voice at the other end of the line asks him if he has called the police, but Jian just hangs up. In the meantime, the police detectives realize that all the victims have the exact same lipstick markings on their faces, and all the markings come from the same exact lipstick brand and color. One clue leads to the next, and Kwa finds an abandoned house where Jia-an used to live. Under the mattress, the name Jia-an is written with lipstick. Then, Kwa visits Jia Yuan's mother, Mrs. Sun, who is absolutely crazy. She says that her daughter is living in the city after getting her university degree. The problem is that her daughter died when she was 2 months old. After Kwa finds a lipstick that matches the one on the victims, he wanders around the house and also finds a bunch of red boxes, like the ones used by the serial killer. After leaving Sen's house, to bring some more clues. Now, they find out that Mrs. Sen gave her son the name of her dead daughter, Jia-an. Elsewhere, Jia-an is having a mental breakdown because he thinks he is seeing the ghost of his dead sister. At the police station, Kwa watches a tape he stole from Sen's house and realizes that the woman forced her son to be something like her daughter, even applying lipstick on his face. Kwa issues a warrant for the police to bring Jian and Jia-an in for an interrogation, but they can't find the DJ. However, Kwa pressures Jian to tell him if he knows where his friend is, and the latter gives them Jia Yuan's location. When Jia-an is brought, Kwa has put the clues together. Jia Yuan's mother not only dressed him as a girl, but she also made him act like a girl. She was using her son as a replacement for her dead daughter. Kwa assumes that Jia-an hates women and he feels some sense of relief when he kills them. Jia-an gets mad and confronts Kwa, but right at that moment his lawyer walks into the room and takes Jia-an away before Kwa can crack him. That night, Da has a couple of drinks with his friend Yong, who advises him to be more serious at work. He says this because he is not sure for how long he will be around. Then, Yong buys an illegal gun and starts following Jia-an in his red car. The serial killer lures Yong to an abandoned building, ambushing him and getting the upper hand in their fight. Despite this, Yong uses his gun and takes control of the situation. Yong beats him up for a little while, but Jia-an fights back. After a few blows, Yong puts his hands around the killer's neck and chokes him. Jia-an pretends to be dead but then snaps back up and pushes Yong off the building. After returning home and drinking some alcohol, Jia-an attacks Yong's daughter again. In the meantime, Yong is found, and he is taken to the hospital where the doctors announce that he is in critical condition. At the police station, Kwa is visited by Jia Yuan's lawyer, who is accompanied by Hung Lian, the chairman of the country's parliament. This means he is a very powerful politician. Hung mentions that the police are messing a lot with a club where he is an investor, the Kink, wondering if this is an act motivated by one of his political rivals. After Hung leaves, Kwa and to look into more clues. Kwa can't understand why such a powerful politician is getting involved in this case. The prosecutor will receive the answer to that from Lu, who has been doing her own research. As it appears, Hung was married but his wife died when he was elected. Then, he formed a relationship with Mrs. Sen, Jia Yuan's mother. A few months after that, Jia-an was born. This means that there is a possibility Jia-an is Hung's son. Soon, the police are able to find another dead body, but this one is not a recent death. In fact, the murder was committed 2 years ago. Kwa is able to link the body to the club and is now certain that Jia-an has something to do with this. The prosecutor orders the police squads to look everywhere for Jia-an in order to arrest him, but they can't find him. In the meantime, Jian tries to find his friend because he wants to help him become a better person. Jian finds Jia-an preparing for a trip and asks him where he's going. The two of them engage in a discussion because Jian wants to convince his friend to tell him the truth about what's going on and if he is really a serial killer. On the other hand, Jia-an wants Jian to get in the car with him so they can go. At that moment, Jian hears a female voice screaming from inside the trunk. Jia-an prevents him from opening the trunk, but Jian pushes him aside. Jia-an is already stressed out and angry, but he becomes even angrier when he starts seeing the ghost of his dead sister again. He grabs a rock, hits Jian with it, and puts him in the back seat. As Jia-an tries to escape, he drives right by the police vehicles. Xian wakes up and starts talking to his friend because he wants to convince him to give himself in. Nevertheless, Jia-an is completely out of control as he sees his sister's ghost everywhere. He drives madly as he screams for his sister to die. Eventually, he sees her ghost standing on the road and he tries to run her over, but since there is nobody there, the car falls off a cliff. Later, the police find the car. Kwa is informed that both Jia-an and Jian are dead. However, there is a girl's body in the trunk of the car and she is alive. The best news is that the girl is Ju Tong, Yong's daughter. The girl has to be transferred to the hospital and there is still hope she can make it. In the following days, the news report this incident and they also wonder if this case is closed. The police find one more dead body missing her right hand, but it is not clear if this body is connected to Jia-an. Wu Huai comes to the morgue to identify her brother's body, and she starts crying when she sees him dead. The news report that Jian was working with the serial killer, so Huai asks the prosecutor why he doesn't clear the fog. However, Kui exclaims that his investigation is not yet finished. He is not certain if her brother is a murderer or not. Later, the police also visit her apartment in order to conduct an investigation on Jian. Before leaving, Kui tells Huai that they will return Jian's stuff as soon as they are done with their research. The next morning, many angry relatives of the dead girls have gathered outside the place where Huai is having her brother's funeral. The relatives burst into the place and try to smash everything that reminds them of Jian. Huai tries to stop them, but a woman blames her for being an accomplice in the murders and slaps her. Chen and Lu jump in to help Huai and they try to push the angry crowd out. Then, they participate in the funeral with Huai. Later, Kwa visits Ju Tong in the hospital and asks the doctor if he can speak to her when she wakes up. The doctor explains to him that the girl is having post-traumatic stress, so maybe it is better for Kwa to talk to her after a few days. A few minutes later, Kwa is informed that two high-ranked officials are waiting for him because they want to have a talk. The officials tell Kwa to close the case or else they will have to take more aggressive measures by speaking to his superiors. Kwa asks them for 2 more weeks to investigate and then he will close the case. The officials give him a 10-day deadline before walking away. A few days later, Shin suggests to Yichi to have a government official on her show as well as Huai, so they can have an open dialogue on the case. When the show is on air, things start slow, but Yichi soon turns the heat up by cornering Huai. Huai snaps back at her and says that her brother was the most polite person on the planet, so there is no chance such a person can be a killer. Shen decides to speak up and tells Yichi to stop attacking Huai. On the other hand, he starts speaking about possibilities. If Jian is innocent, then it would be possible that the serial killer worked with a different accomplice, who might be watching over them right now while he prepares to kill his next victim. New evidence links Jia-an to an adult club called Sodoma, which was shut down by the government due to its aggressive adult content and live shows. When Yichi hears that, she plays a tape from an old documentary that Chen had produced talking about the club. While watching the video, Yichi sees Jia-an appearing in the background. At the same time, Mr. Ma comes to visit Kwa because there is something that feels strange to him. The old man believes that the killer who called him and the killer who called the TV channel is a different person. Ma proclaims that the one who called him sounded older and he was more certain in his words. According to his opinion, the one who called the TV channel was not like that. One day later, Kwa finds out that Tien, the murderer from the case 3 years back in time, asked to see his father. Kwa visits him and tells him that he can't do that, but he has something to offer. Tien can tell him the truth about Jia-an, and he will stop being considered a potential old accomplice of his. If he does tell the truth, they can change his statement and he will be set free because he will have no involvement with any of the murders. While Kwa lets Tien think about it, Chen calls for a taxi, but the taxi driver is not a random person. He is Kwa's uncle, Koen, who raised him after his family was murdered by a guy to whom his father owed money. When Koen returns to the house, he calls Kwa to get outside his room in order to grab some food. Once they see each other face to face, Koen tells him that he had Chen as a writer tonight. Chen somehow knew that they are related and he was asking many questions about Kwa. Those words make Kwa suspicious. He starts thinking that Chen has always been close to all the murders either as a reporter or in an indirect way. Plus, he fits the character of a narcissist, a person who always wants all the attention on them. A flashback takes us back to Chen's childhood years, when it became apparent he was a sadist. The boy always wanted to cause trouble while he tricked others into thinking that he was just an innocent kid. Back in the present, Yichi sets up a meeting with a man named Tang, who was the owner of the Sodoma Club. Yichi gives him some money in exchange for something, but when she opens the folder the man gave her, she only finds a letter with nothing on it. Tang attacks Yuqi and throws her in the back of a car, but his plan goes sideways when he is attacked by Chen from behind. The series cuts a few years back in time and we now see what has happened in Chen's past. He started out as a reporter who would do anything to capture a good story with his camera. He soon discovered that he liked causing people pain and joined the Sodoma Club to watch extreme adult shows. After meeting Jaan, he found him with his first victim and helped him bury the body. The two of them were psychos, so they immediately clicked. They became friends and attended the Sodoma Club together. One night, the two of them attacked the live performers and they also met Tian, who seemed to share the same tastes as them. But things got out of hand soon. The three of them abducted and tied a woman up, Lu's friend, wearing masks so they could not be recognized. Tian was not participating in the abuse but rather was taking pictures. When things got really dangerous, he tried to stop the other two, but Chen killed the girl. Then, he abducted Tian's father to convince him not to talk to anyone about what happened. Back in the present, the police find the body of Tang, who was apparently left dead by Chen. Elsewhere, Yuqi gradually wakes up while Chen is shooting a video of her. The two of them start conversing and Chen mocks her about a journaling prize she has won. According to him, she is not a good journalist because she has not told her fans that she has a son outside of marriage. Chen gets mad as they talk because Yuqi tells him he is insignificant. While the video camera still records, Chen kills her brutally. Soon, Kuo and his team find her dead body as well. They know that the killings are far from over. As Kuo walks outside, he has a quick talk with Lu, who feels guilty about Yuqi's death because they were supposed to have dinner together that evening. Later, the new outlets receive a new tape from the killer, who tells them that if the murder cases were closed, people would feel empty. He assures the audience that he is going to find a new protagonist to create a show for them. However, the choice lies with the audience. They can stick in front of their TVs and watch the show, or they can turn the TV off. In the meantime, Tian serves his time in prison. He goes about his usual routine until he receives a couple of pictures depicting his father. He recalls the threats that Chen had thrown at him in the past, wondering if his father is going to be okay. The next morning, Kuo spends some time with the manager and the editor of the TV channel. He has asked them to review the tape with Chen's documentary on the Sodoma Club. Kuo asks the editor why Yuqi asked to see the same tape a few days earlier, trying to figure out if there is any evidence here. The editor explains to him that she wanted to find out more information about the club as well as its owner. Kuo also wonders if the manager knows anything out of the ordinary about Yuqi, but he does not. He tells Kuo that Yuqi always came alone at work and she always left alone. In any case, Kuo takes the tape for further research. Later, Kuo wants to have a talk with Chen, so he asks his partners to bring him to the police station. Det and the new detective who took Yang's place, Yun, find Chen at a book presentation. But this is not just any book. It is a book he has written about the murder cases. The police squad asks Chen to go with them. The journalist and writer agrees to go with them. But before he goes, he tells the crowd he believes the police are doing a lousy job. At the police station, Kuo starts asking Chen if he knows Tang, the owner of the Sodoma Club. Chen initially says that he does not know the man, but he is forced to say that he knows him when Kuo reminds him of the documentary he had shot at the club. Chen justifies himself by saying that he was a young journalist back then and he considered the documentary a way to advance his career. As the two of them continue talking, Kuo exclaims that this book came out pretty quickly. Even if Chen wrote a new chapter each time a murder happened, he would not be so fast to write the book, edit it, and also publish it. On the other hand, Chen claims this is a very important book and the publishing house helped him publish it as soon as possible. But then, Kuo wonders how Chen knew the correct order of the murders. According to the information the police released, one of the other girls was the first to die. Although the police was wrong, this is a detail that nobody else would possibly know. Chen replies that he listened to his intuition and it was right. Then, he starts talking with passion about the cases but Kuo interrupts him. Chen doesn't like to be interrupted and Kuo notices that. The prosecutor asks Chen to wait for a few minutes so he can sign his statement, but the latter is annoyed Kuo is not asking him his opinion about the serial killer. Soon, Chen returns to the channel, and Lu hears from him that he was questioned by the police. Lu wonders what's going on and she proceeds to meet with Kuo immediately. Nonetheless, the prosecutor tells her that there is an ongoing investigation and he can't reveal sensitive information to her. Meanwhile, Wu Huai visits Tian because she is the therapist watching over him. The guards have informed her that Tian is not in a good mental condition, so she wants to know how he is doing. Tien begins by telling her that he is not a photographer. He just lied to everybody and they believed him. He lied so much that he believed the lie himself. There is something about the camera lens though. He feels safe when he is behind the lens, and it is like he does not participate in whatever is going on in front of the lens. Huai acts cleverly and she asks him if he wants to talk about something that happened in front of the lens. Tien feels guilt about what happened in the past, saying that the girl was killed in front of his eyes and he did nothing about it. Then, she asks Huai to tell his father that he loves him, before grabbing a pen and committing the unthinkable. Tien dies slowly in front of Huai's eyes. That night, the serial killer visits the hospital, but his visit has nothing to do with Tien's father. Chen just wanders around the corridor and whistles a tune he likes. That tune is picked up by Ju Tong and it reminds her of the negative experience she's had with the killer. Those memories trigger her negative emotions and she is panicked. Ko arrives at the hospital to talk to her, but he is too late as he finds the doctors administering a sedative substance to her. Upon being asked, the doctor explains that different people have different recovery times. An emotional shock can be triggered by anything that reminds the patient of their negative experience. The next day, Chen shoots a show dedicated to the memory of Yuqi. While he is busy with the show, Lu enters his office and finds Yuqi's cigarette case. Chen catches her in the act, but Lu does not back down and asks him about the cigarette case. Chen stays calm and replies that he used to admire Yuqi, so he just got a cigarette case similar to hers. Nothing more. That night, the serial killer sends a new tape on various TV channels, but this time he addresses Ko directly. He proclaims that everybody has evil inside their hearts. The real question is what can make that evil emerge. The tape ends with the killer saying that he will make Ko express his dark side. Ko is worried that the killer will hurt his uncle, but instead, the prosecutor is called because a new body is found. Unfortunately, this body belongs to his friend and ex-girlfriend, Wu Huai. Ko is infuriated and decides to corner Chen in a parking lot. Ko attacks him and lands a few punches, but then Chen starts evading his attacks while telling him that Huai's death is his fault. Chen says that Huai was already dead when he threw her out of the building. Ko unleashes another attack and beats Chen. Then, the serial killer starts mocking Ko while telling him that he crashed Huai's head. At that moment, Ko pulls a pistol and shoots him a couple of times. With a feeling of catharsis, Ko walks away slowly. A few moments later though, Ko's friends from the police station find him waiting patiently. While De is ordered to arrest Ko, Chen is taken to the hospital. Chen is still alive and he makes a public statement about the incident, pretending he is a victim of the authorities. Soon, Chen is good to go and he returns to the TV channel. However, he is met by the channel's president who is not in a good mood. He wants Chen to stay away from the channel because he is a suspect in the murder cases and this fact harms the channel's credibility. Chen attacks the president but then cracks into laughs, saying that he is just joking. Furthermore, he tells the president that more citizens will tune into their channel now because they will want to hear his side of the story. Soon, another tape is sent by the killer, who reminds everyone that he is committing the murders because the crowd is interested. If they did not care, he would have no audience. During the next couple of days, the serial killer grows a following and the police arrest various criminals who like to wear the mask of no. In Chen's next show, he is contradicting an ex-judge about the feeling of danger that the town's residents are experiencing. According to him, the authorities are to blame because they can't do their job and arrest the serial killer. On the other hand, the ex-judge believes that this show is promoting the killer by constantly speaking about him. As the show progresses, Chen loses his cool and he verbally attacks the ex-judge, also making some inappropriate gestures. At the same time, Ko is attacked in prison by a few inmates who want to get revenge on him for putting them in jail. Ko is transferred to a hospital outside prison, and he recalls a visit he had from Mr. Ma. During their conversation, Ko apologized to Mr. Ma for not catching the killer, but Ma told him that he did everything he could. Ma expressed that he believes in Ko, even though he is scared. Back in the present, Ko wants to appear in Chen's show, and the latter accepts this proposition because he thinks it will be good for the channel. The show begins with Ko apologizing to everyone for his actions. Then, the host and the guest have a short talk before Chen announces that they are going to accept some phone calls from the audience. The first call is from a man who claims he is the real No, a fact that surprises both Ko and Chen. The supposed killer says that he is going to continue his work, while he also blames Chen for stealing his ideas and putting them in a book to make a profit. Chen gets aggressive toward the caller, but he tries to hold back. Ko, who knows that Chen is an egomaniac, addresses the caller as if he is the killer, and tells him that he has lost his edge. The murders he is committing are not a piece of art, as he claims, but rather the result of his anger. Everyone who kills can be Nell, which means that the real Nell was an insignificant person. This is the same thing Yichi had told Chen before he killed her. Chen is hurt by those words and he snaps at Kwa, outlining all the reasons he believes he is special. However, he also confesses on live television that he is a serial killer. As it is revealed, this has been a trick all along set up by Kwa. The police raid Chen's office for evidence before arresting him. Kwa tells him that he is always going to be a nobody because all he does is kill in order to prove his existence. Kwa has to return to prison, but everything else falls into place. The police find more evidence in Chen's house, and the serial killer is sentenced to prison for life. But as he is taken outside the court, a masked crowd has gathered requiring his freedom. Despite this, a masked man approaches Chen and stabs him in the stomach. While Chen dies slowly, he is thirsty to have all eyes on him, telling the cameras to stay fixed on him. A few years later, Mr. Ma has found inner peace, while Officer Yong spends more constructive time with his daughter. Kwa is released from prison after serving a short sentence and he becomes a lawyer. Lu has become a main anchorwoman for the TV channel and she keeps doing her job, asking Kwa for a statement every now and then.